Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, I'm going to be joined by a great friend of mine, Micah, who is one of the best Diablo 3 players in the world. He's been in Clan NCG with me for a while. Very accomplished, has been rank 1 before in seasonal hardcore. I believe he finished one season as rank 1 in Paragon, and he's also played Path of Exile for thousands of hours. He has played the PTR for this current iteration of patches for Diablo for about 40 hours already, so I wanted to kind of sit down with him and pick his brain about what he thinks about Season 16 and all of these different buffs and changes that we're getting for next season. So let's get into it. Alrighty, and so now I am joined by Micah. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
I'm Micah. I'm an NCG and I play Diablo 3, among other games.
Oh, what other games do you play?
I play a lot of PoE and basically just ARPGs. So PoE and D3, and I've been playing Lost Ark a decent amount recently.
Oh, cool. Okay. So have you ever been like rank 1 in a season of Diablo 3 or like number 1 Paragon? Like, what's kind of your achievements? Your best achievements?
I was season 8. I was rank 2 world 4-man, rank 2 world. I mean, just like rank 2 worlds in the earlier seasons, but more recently I've been getting a few more rank 1s. We had a 142 last season. That would be season 14. Rank 1 world, 142 4-man. Just, you know, the usual 3K Paragon. Like
just the usual rank 1s.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, just the usual what you see with, you know, people who are higher up on the leaderboards, I suppose.
So if you had to pick a class that's your favorite to play, what would it be?
Well, I playing monk since vanilla, and I recently switched off monk in season 12. So I played around 12 seasons of monk, and I just started playing satyr, and I've really been enjoying satyr a lot. So it was monk, but then wave of light, man, just gets so old just casting bell. So I would say satyr's my favorite right now.
That's cool. Okay. So I know you'd mentioned you play PoE. Which game would you say you play more of, PoE or Diablo 3?
Well, I mean, to date, I have 8,000 or 9,000 hours in PoE and only like 5,000 or 6,000 in Diablo 3. So, I would say I enjoy PoE more.
Oh wow, okay.
Just from like hours played, and I don't know. It's very intricate, and it's a little bit more for hardcore players. You know, if PoE is as difficult as you make it, and D3 can only get so intricate, and I really strive to be challenged. And once you've gotten rank 1s and you've grinded, you know, 3K, 3.2, 3.5 Paragon 3 or 4 seasons in a row, like, you know, what else is there to do?
Well,
so I play PoE.
So from my perspective, I'm nowhere near the expert that you are on PoE, but like, I don't understand that point of view, because from the outside looking in, I'm thinking like, there's no leaderboards on PoE. Your only goal is to get like level 99. So I would view Diablo 3 as more intricate, because there's so many different, you know, 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, and then the solo boards for every class. It's not just about like Paragon. So what's your opinion on that?
Okay, so there are actually leaderboards in PoE. There's XP leaderboards. There's boss kill leaderboards, like who's the first to kill this boss or that boss. Or they just came out, well, not just, like I think like 9 months ago, they came out with Uber Elder, and it was a Uber form of their latest boss. And basically it combined like 2 of the in-game bosses together, and there was a world race to get the first, like, you know, world first kill on that boss. So they're like, yeah, there's the XP leaderboard, but there are other leaderboards in the game as well that are pretty interesting to play. Like, you know, solo self-found leaderboards, you know, hardcore, softcore, trade leagues. Like, you know, there's a lot of different ways. Like, there's a lot of different ways to play the game, and they facilitate that with the leaderboards that they provide. Oh, and
Okay.
there's also like labyrinth leaderboards, like speedrunning leaderboards. Who can do the labyrinth? Who can min max their build the most to do the labyrinth the fastest? I've never done that, but I know a lot of people who are super. I have a couple of friends on my friends list who are super into doing lab like incredibly fast.
Okay. Cool. So you kind of think Diablo 3 and PoE are both good games, and they both have different niches to fill?
Yeah, I would agree. D3 fulfills a very specific niche, as you said. It's a little bit more casual and forgiving than PoE, and I mean, it's a testament to its playability, because I'm still playing it and I have like 4.6k non-seasonal paragon, like in hardcore. So it's they both fulfill a very specific purpose for the type of gamer that plays it.
Cool. All right, well, sliding into the kind of PTR patch notes for Season 16 for Diablo 3, I guess, I'll just kind of scroll down and get your opinion on some of this stuff. The 5 additional armory tabs, that seems pretty cool. Why not?
I think it's kind of...
just whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I would have rather had more armory space. Like, do you seriously have 10 sets of gear that serve different purposes on your characters? Like,
I guess
space, man.
I guess my point was like, why not? Like, it's not a bad thing, like.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad thing. But I mean, 10 slots and there's 13 pieces of gear. Like, that's a lot of stash space. If you only play one character, it's perfect. But I mean, there's only a few different sets. Like,
yeah, 10. Yeah, now that you say that, it does kind of seem like overkill. Because I've never had to put in like. I wish they would let you actually store the gear in the armory.
Yeah, if they made it to where you could store the gear in the armory, that would be perfect.
Yeah, because like your stash gets so cluttered, you don't know what piece of gear you're using, what piece of gear you're not. I wish you could just like store it in the armory, kind of like a closet.
Yeah. See, that would be ideal for sure. And I would love to have 20 different slots. I could just mule gear in there. Yeah,
it'd be perfect. GR keystones stored in the materials tab. That's long overdue in my opinion. That's gonna be great, right?
Yeah, I like that, but I mean, if anyone's seen me play, like, they know I like making little patterns and stuff in my stash. But it's nice to have a little bit more stash space.
Yeah, of course. Primals on the ground indicated by red, and a pentagram icon on the minimap, and a red border updated background on their icons, and a guaranteed primal when you kill the first level 70 solo RG. So all kind of cool changes, but not like game breaking or anything.
Yeah, so here's what I have to say about that. To my knowledge, it doesn't glow when it's un-ID'd, so you don't know it's primal or not.
Yep. And
I think that kind of defeats the purpose, because like, you drop a primal on the ground, okay, cool, it's a primal. We know it's a primal. I just saw it in my inventory,
I thought I heard someone saying it does glow red un-ID'd.
Huh.
I can't like guarantee that, but I thought I heard someone say that now it's kind of cool because you have the anticipation of identifying a primal. But
yeah, so I can't confirm or deny that, but to my knowledge, through my testing, I've probably done like 30 or 40 hours on the PTR so far, and I haven't seen it. But I mean, from what I heard, it doesn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
however, I would like to say I love that you can see that it's primal while it's in your stash. I think they should do that for ancients. Like, it's annoying to be like, oh, is this ancient? No. Where's my ancient, engine?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's. I really wish they had borders for ancients too. That way you could, help organize your stash just a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
They're on the right track.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So then they finally fixed the adjusting your paragon points during the GRs. It was kind of abused in large cooldown builds, so you could have toughness while you're waiting for your cooldowns. Did you end up seeing that used a lot, or?
Yeah, I actually played Wizard for 4-man last season, and I played some RGK this season. It has been heavily abused since season 7 with Witch Doctor Jin Monk, when that was the meta in 4-man. And like basically you just switch to full vit on the RGK so you wouldn't die, because generally RGK foregoes a lot of toughness to have as much damage as possible on the RG. And I think this change will put hardcore and softcore back into different metas, as far as, you know, hardcore is going to have to play a little bit tankier builds because they can't abuse that pair swap anymore.
Oh, so you think that you know, for hardcore players, it's actually going to be a pretty big deal?
Oh, definitely. I believe, I would be surprised. I mean, maybe not with this Rorik season, but I would be surprised if you were able to play the exact same build softcore does without that pair swap. Because I was watching softcore do some pushes with, you know, a proposed new meta, and the Demon Hunter was just on the ground the entire time, well, just dead. So
yep. Okay. Awesome. So then, obviously, the main theme is the Season of Grandeur, where every single character has a permanent Ring of Grandeur. I guess first, what do you think about that season theme? Do you like it or not?
I like it. I mean, like I said, they're on the right track to bringing, you know, new things into the game, new ways to play. Essentially all the Rorg slot does is allow a build who used Rorg to put on COE or put on Unity to make them more tanky. You know, other builds who didn't use Rorg, it'll allow them, like Satyr, for instance. Satyr can wear, or at least condemn. I posted a clear with hexing pants equipped because it wasn't a Rorg build, so I just threw hexing pants on. Or like say on Jade, I used illusory boots to make me able to, you know, walk a little bit easier through the mobs and stuff. So it wouldn't give you a whole lot of damage for a lot of classes, but for some classes you'll be seeing a couple extra tiers just from being able to equip, like Charge Barb goes Focus and Restraint and Sui now, or, you know, or Focus and Restraint Band of Might. So Focus and Restraint is just huge DPS increase versus you know, just a Sui.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think it's, you know, something fun that'll kind of shake it up a little bit. And so, like, how do you have to actually unlock the Ring of Grandeur through bounties, or is it just like automatically given to you?
It's automatic. So the second you get to
level 70,
the second you get to 70, you equip, you know, 5 pieces, and boom, you have your 6 piece.
Wow. Because I know, you know, that was always like the opening night thing is like, oh gosh, we got to get the Ring of Royal Grandeur.
Yeah. It's a pain to get, so it's kind of nice you don't have to, you know, farm it.
Cool. Well, now let's get into kind of all the different classes here and the changes. You're welcome to scroll with me. I'm just going to start on the Legacy of Nightmares. They are taking it from 100% to 500%. Do you see Lon being endgame viable for anything?
As far as, so a 5 times increase is around 10 GRs or so. As far as 4-man, we never saw a Lon build go anywhere close to 150 like the Wizard does. So I could see it being meta for, you know, especially keys. Like you could do like a fun Lon build on pretty much anything for keys. As far as pushing, I'm not sure if it's gonna meet the set buffs that were just given, especially with the Season of the Rourke. Maybe if it wasn't the Rourke season, you'd see a little bit more Lon in the leaderboards. But with Season of the Rourke, it makes the 6-piece sets just a little bit too strong and outshine the Lon.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Then for Barbarian, you know, big changes. I was kind of surprised Raycor got as big of a buff as it did. I kind of expect that to be tuned down to about 4,500 or 5,000. What do you think?
Yeah, I was very surprised as well to see Raycor get buffed, seeing it's already pushing, you know, 120, and that's kind of around the cap that a lot of the builds are reaching, is, you know, 120, 122, 23 in non-season 4. they got 2.5 times, which is like a 4 or 5 tier buff. So I was very surprised. I think it may get nerfed. If not, the others may get buffed. You never know.
Is there anything that stands out to you on Barb? Besides
as
that,
far IK Immortal Call got a 267 buff, a 2.67 multiplier, which is around 5 tiers as well. But it makes it, kind of in line with the Raker for the IK6R4. That's a Raker 4-piece charge, basically the charge barb everyone's seen Chainer do. And it's really strong. Because with Roar, you can go Bantamite, Focus, and Restraint, and I posted a 121 with it. Like, it's very powerful right now. And it's good for keys, too. Like, the damage buff, you can just charge until the RG dies. It's very good. Very good. As far as Might of the Earth, Leap Quake's gonna be trash. Waste, you can do keys now. Yeah, you can do keys on Waste now. So it requires a little bit of gear because it's still very much an area damage build. But you get some ancient weapons and a little bit of Paragon on you'll be able to do keys in 213.
Okay, and then what about Satyr that jumps out to you?
They didn't touch a con, which is good. It didn't really need a buff.
See, really quickly, I wanted to mention that Raykor was kind of like the pushing build for Barb, and they buffed it. But then you contrast that with Satyr. Akan was the pushing build, and they left it. So it's kind of like weird that they would buff Raykor but leave Akan.
So the reason being for that, in my opinion, is because all the botters use Satyr to bot Paragon, and if they just botted Akan, they would just buff the botters, so that's why they kind of left it untouched. As far as like Thorns, Roland, and Seeker, I've seen Roland's and Seeker post really high clears comparable to Akan. I haven't tested the Hammerden. I think that's Seeker. Yeah, Seeker of the Light. I haven't tested it, but I've seen it on the leaderboards, and I've talked to people pushing in softcore.
The Hammerden got a 6x buff.
It's very, very powerful now. It's like over 10 tiers.
That's like 12 or 13 probably. Yeah,
it's very, very powerful, and I think it'll be competitive, very competitive with the con. I'm not sure at the moment what'll best each other, but if anything, it'll be Hammerden beating a con.
Cool. And then for Demon Hunter, what kind of stands out?
I don't play too much Demon Hunter. I played a little bit yesterday. I think that, man, it's hard to say. Like, Yui got a buff for whatever reason. Like, it was already incredibly powerful, and now it got like an 8-tier buff. And so you'll see a lot of higher tier clears on it. Marauder's really powerful. I've seen all 6 piece, like straight up, no N6, M4. I've seen all 6 pieces do really high, especially Shadows is doing really high. I think it did like 123. That was in hardcore, so definitely go higher in softcore. All around, they're all pretty much balanced around the like if it was a season, it'd be around the 118, 122 range at the max. But this is just spitballing, of course.
Yeah, I always kind of thought that DH was like the best opening weekend class because multi-shot is just kind of like the jack of all trades, bounties, keys, speed GRs, everything. And now multi-shot got a 3.5x. Like, it's going to be insane the first week of a season.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful, especially with Rourke, man. Like, you can go like straight up glass cannon and then just cube a elusive ring and just blow through everything and be indestructible. It's very, very powerful.
And you can wear the helm. What's that helm called that gives you the visage or whatever? Yeah,
Visage of Goons and Pride's Fall. Yep. Like combined, like it's ridiculous. It's very, very, very powerful. Like, that's what I do. Like, on PTR, you have to have 200 points to buy a set pack. So I would just do like 280s in like 90 seconds on DH, and then just spend all my shards on sets and just do it until I have full ancients. So it's really, really strong.
What about Monk?
So Monk is okay. So this is my problem with these set buffs. So Monk got huge buffs for it. Inna got like a 15 tier buff. Ulian's got a really strong buff. Raymond got a really strong buff, and Monkey King got slightly touched because it was just behind like Akan and Raker. So of course it's gonna get a little bit of a buff. I would say so that's the thing, that it's not the sets that are making these strong. Like what makes Akan Condemn strong is Blade of Prophecy and Freighter's Wrath, and what makes Wave of Light strong is all the multipliers on Kirshiro's Blade or the Sweeping Wind or Incense Torch of the Grand Temple. Like it's not the set it's not that big number making it strong. It's that big number combined with these items, these legendary items with insane affixes. And that's why we're seeing Inna's go Wave of Light now. Like that's why we're seeing, all these, or at least like you can pretty much do any build with Inna. You can do Wave of Light with Inna. You can do EP with Inna. Like it is just all skills being buffed. And whereas, Uliana and Monkey King and Raymond are all very, very focused on one skill, and Inna's just like the jack of all trades. Like I'll be doing keys on Inna Monk, probably not Samuka, because you don't need the sweeping wind fist weapon,
Like Kirshiro's Blade or whatever.
Yeah.
And then obviously Necromancer didn't get much because it's already kind of been king of the meta ever since it was released, so it just gets a small buff to Trey Ghouls.
Yeah, I haven't tested that.
Yeah, not really. Justifiably so, not a whole lot to talk about for the Necromancer.
Yeah.
And then that brings us into Witch Doctor. Anything kind of stand out there?
Witch Doctor's always been slightly behind, at least, Wizard and Barb and Crusader, so it makes sense that they give everything kind of a blanket buff. Everything got a decent buff. Jade got an insane buff.
Yeah.
I played Jade yesterday and I freaking loved it. It's very, very powerful, especially with the Roar. You can have Siwi and Ring of Emptiness, and it's just so much fun to play.
Do you think Jade will be able to compete with like a multi-shot DH on speed GRs?
Definitely not. The mechanics of Jade, you have to Locus and Haunt, so maybe higher up, like say like 90s or like 110s, yeah. If you have like a Z-Monk, it may outdo the UEDH. But as far as like 80s or 70s, or I think 80s will be the new 70s.
Yeah, I think so too.
With these buffs, nah, just the mechanics of Jade just make it a little bit clunkier.
Cool. And then what about Wizard?
Man. So this is what I was saying about, Blade of Prophecy and Freighter's Wrath making Condemn OP on the con. That's why they didn't buff it. At Sigil, Nilfer's Boast, Death Wish, and Grand Vizier all make, Meteors broken, and they're buffing. I mean, it's understandably so. They're Wizard's pretty strong overall, but they buffed Talrasha. And the reason we used Firebird for 4-man is because it had the highest multiplier. Well, Talrasha now has the highest multiplier, and we'll be using that instead of Firebird. So, I mean, it got some justifiable buffs. I think that they need to start. It's at the point where a lot of these legendary items just haven't been touched, and they need to address like these really strong legendary items in combination with just abusing those items with set multipliers.
When I saw this Wizard change, what jumped out to me was how insane Wand of Woe is going to be for like keys, because you can make a Death Breath Wand of Woe key farmer, and Talrasha got, what is that, a 4x multiplier?
Yeah, it's like a 10 tier buff or so.
So, I mean, imagine a Wand of Woe Wiz with Death Breath Sage set just blowing everything up in one shot.
Yeah, Wanda was going to be incredibly powerful for T13. You don't even have to run the fire rune. You could just run the cold rune and just freaking destroy everything.
Because
Yeah,
because the wizard's main competition as far as a Death Breath farmer was the Condemn Akan Satyr, but that didn't get buffed.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a chance, you know, it'd be a really good idea for everybody to build like a Wanda Wowiz and get those DBs.
Yeah, Wanda Wowiz, or I mean, even with
Is there anything else with these buffs that would be a really good DB farmer?
Samuko's always been a really good DB farmer, and I think with that, 1.5 times multiplier, it's going to make it a little bit stronger. If I had to choose, like if I was going to run sages on anything, I would definitely choose Samuko first, and then Wizard, and then Crusader. I think at this point.
Oh, okay. So you still think Monk will be best for Sage Farmer?
Yeah, Dashing Strike and Ninja is just it's too overpowered. Yeah.
Yeah, Dashing Strike, for people who don't understand why Dashing Strike is so good, it's because of the animation, right? It's like instant.
Yeah, the animation is instant, and your dash is tied to your attack speed. So the faster your attack speed, the faster you can dash. So I just stack a ton of attack speed, and I can dash like so fast.
Mm-hmm. And is that the only class that has that? Like,
to my knowledge,
like Wizard Teleport, that's not like linked to your attack speed or anything.
I'm pretty sure it's not. Necro's an animation. Witch Doctor's animation. Vault, maybe. Is Vault tied to attack speed?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it may be animation. Like most of these are just straight up animations.
But Vault is different. Like, even if it was, it wouldn't be that big of an advantage because, like, you still have to travel the distance, you know?
Yeah, you still have to travel and you still need discipline.
Yeah, you can't, like, if you're doing multi-shot DH, you can't just vault, like, or you're going to have 12 discipline, you're going to do no damage.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, so, okay, that covers all the classes. Then really quick, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, the meta, and what do you think is going to be kind of like XP, 4-man, and, you know, all these sorts of things.
Well, so with all these set pieces getting buffed in line where the damage of Necro is, I think that XP is going to be pretty much whatever you want to do for XP. Like, of course, someone's going to figure out, the most efficient XP. I think it'll be either rats, maybe charge barb. We did a bit of a charge barb speed runs. We'll see what happens
when
there.
When you say charge barb runs, for people that don't know, what are those?
It's going to be the Immortal King 6-piece with Raker 4, and just charge and kill shit.
But I mean, what's the comp? Like the 4-person team comp?
I think it'll be 2 charge barbs in RGK and either a Z barb or a Z monk, and the 2 charge barbs will just go in, crush trash, and then the DH will, finish off elites if they're not dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think that could be a possibility. Rat runs will still be really good, but it's to the point where you can pretty much slap anything together at this point. Get really good, like, XP that you see, all the streamers doing, spamming super efficient rat runs. Like, yeah, you won't have, their 3.5k paragon, but if you grind as hard as them doing a different meta, you'll have, a little bit less paragon, like 3k or something, 3.2 or something.
So basically, this isn't exact numbers, but just to throw it out there, let's say rat runs used to get you 1 trillion XP per hour, and then if you did something else, you'd be getting like 400 million. So now rat runs are still going to get that 1 trillion XP an hour, but other things are going to be getting like 850 to 900 mil. So it's like shortening the gap, basically, right? Yeah,
exactly. Like, essentially, it's to the point where at the very least you'll be getting 30% less XP per hour, or maybe even 15% less XP per hour.
Mm-hmm. And at least there's a chance rats may get overtaken.
Yeah, I would say that's a very high possibility. Like, especially with the Rourke buff, there's what makes rats so OP is Crisbins and Circle and COE. Like, Necros have very small. They only have 3 elements, so Seaweed's incredibly powerful for speedruns. And I think with the Rourke buff, you'll definitely see everyone else gets a free ring, and Necros pretty much don't, because those are their best 3 options.
Yeah. So what would a rat use this season? Like what would they change?
I've theory crafted they would just use the chest, the Devour chest, so you have a little bit more essence, or maybe the Leoric's crown for more CDR. Like, you know, there's not too many options for them.
Cool. What class are you gonna play? Season start. Depend on the group.
Season start.
Depends on the group. Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I may just go casual and just get like 2K or like 2.5, 2.8. Doing like non-meta XP. Like if it's rat, like I don't think it will be, but if it's rats, man, I did not want to do that again. So I'll just play whatever I want. Maybe Witch Doctor. I really enjoyed playing Jade on the PTR, and I'll play some form of Witch Doctor. I think that'd be fun.
In my opinion, it's kind of cool that there's going to be other things that are viable, so we're not forced to like, hey, anybody want to do rats, and then like forced into one specific role. Like now we can kind of like, you know, this is what I run. Oh, okay, cool. Let's do this. Like, and we can still, you don't have to feel like you're wasting your time, because it's like, well, geez, we'd be getting 4x the XP if we were just doing rats.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really where, that's like the best thing about, you know, this balance patch. Like, yeah, everyone has bigger numbers, but what really matters is XP is what we spend time doing for 90% of the season. And them changing up the possibilities of XP is very welcome in my book, especially since we've been doing rats for like 5 seasons already.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's kind of all I had. I just wanted to kind of discuss everything with you and get your opinions, because I know you'd played like 40 hours of the PTR, but is there anything else you kind of wanted to discuss or say or anything?
Nah, man, not really. Like, everything's looking strong. Everything's looking good. You can pretty much choose anything you want now, and have a good time and be competitive to a point with everyone. So it's really good balance patch as far as, you know, things go, in my opinion.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you kind of taking the time to discuss all this with me.
Nah, anytime, dude. I'll see you in Tristram.
All right. We'll see you, man.
See ya.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this video, and a big shout out to Micah for taking the time to sit down and discuss all these changes with me. If you have any questions, drop it down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.